One time this dude found some free land and notified all of Europe that they need to get as much as possible. So they did. Spain got most of the land, with Portugal being part of South America, and France pulling Britain in too. But then France said,
"Hey UK, you wouldn't mind if I put down borders on the territory that I own, would you? Well, considering it is land I own..."
What?
Yes, I would.
I know.
Au revoir! Alright, we surrender. Okay, boys, they're surrendering.
and then a tomahawk mysteriously landed on the French leader's head.
Wait, what? I mean, surely that won't lead into a super crazy massive over 6-year-long war, right?
And next was a super crazy massive over 6-year-long war, which Britain won.
Your Majesty, we have won the war, but we seem to have gotten quite a lot of, debt from it. Oh, don't worry about that. Every war is going to be costly. Luckily, I've kept my savings right over... United Colonies! What's up, Dad? Where's all the money that I could have it to protect myself against the French? I most certainly did kind of say that. Fine, we're just gonna have to go ahead and tax you.
Wait, what? So Britain, needing money, introduced the new Stamp Act, in which any shop could stamp pamphlets, newspapers, or playing cards, and you would have to pay 2 pence for it. So obviously, the colonists were like, hey guys, this is BS. For a while, the colonies were left in solitary neglect where they mostly ruled themselves, but now Great Britain was asserting its control, and the people were not happy. So what did they do? They protested the taxes, boycotted the goods, the Brits got the pinch, and they were forced to repeal the taxes.
Okay, so the taxes, they didn't work, but we still need money. What do we do? Well, what is France doing right now? France? So basically... we can't have them doing something better than we are. Tax the colonies. Bloody hell.
So Britain said,
We can do whatever we want, and y'all are just gonna have to shove it.
so what did they do? They protested the taxes, boycotted the goods, the Brits got the pinch, and they were forced to repeal the taxes.
Bloody hell, this is madness. They're my colonies, aren't they? Alright. So repeal all the taxes except for tea, and send 100 soldiers to Boston to take control.
So it was. The Redcoats were sent to Boston. That went well, as you would expect, when the colonists were throwing stuff at them, and the Redcoats, under pressure, shot on the crowd. The Boston Massacre was the first real example of the loyalty the British had to their own colonies, and the people were not happy. So in retaliation, the Sons of Liberty got into a British trading ship and threw all of the tea into the harbor. Needless to say, but the British were bloody fuming, so they sent more redcoats to Boston, which was now fully under British control. The other colonies were scared that this would soon happen to them as well, so they all gathered to what would be the First Continental Congress. So what would they do? They would ask the British to stop.
Can you stop? No, it didn't work.
So Plan B, revolution. So they gathered a bunch of poorly trained Minutemen and went to face against the British. After some yelling commotion, someone fired first. The shot heard around the world would be the precursor to the United States of America. At first, they didn't do very well. I mean, the Patriots were completely inexperienced. What could they possibly do to the most powerful army in the world? But after they got reinforcements, it was the British who got blasted. The biggest military superpower in the world was being pounded by a few poorly trained militiamen. They were so bad that they got chased back all the way to Boston.
What the Fuck.
The British couldn't believe it. They were losing to a few small colonies, and boy were the colonists chuffed. After the embarrassing loss, currently in Boston, the British went after Bunker Hill. And in the battle, while the British did win, they lost way more troops than the colonists. This was a message that this wasn't a riot, this was war. After some back and forth, in the Second Continental Congress, the vote for independence was unanimous, and Thomas Jefferson would be the one to write the Declaration of Independence. He went hard, saying that all men are created equal, with certain inalienable rights, including freedom and the pursuit of happiness. Of course, keep in mind that Jefferson had over 100 slaves, but we don't have to worry about that. The United States of America was born. And George Washington celebrated this by being absolutely demolished by the British. So after the whole independent thing, the British set up forces in New York, and after baiting Washington with the old flank him from behind, Washington was forced to retreat, and he continued to get pummeled all the way through New Jersey. So rarely had an army been so badly beaten and still lived to tell the tale. The British settled in for a winter of partying, while Washington settled in for a winter of suffering. On Christmas Eve, Washington knew that the British forces were down, so after his famous crossing of the Delaware, the British were easily defeated, sending a message that this war wasn't lost. A little bit later, Ben Franklin would go to France to try and convince them to join the war. Of course, the French loved any chance to with the Brits, but they wanted to make sure that they wouldn't get pounded, so for now, Ben would stay in France. It seems that the British were going to lose, but they were not going to give up just yet. They had a plan to have one general move down from Montreal and General Howe up from New York, thus cutting off the American supply line. Oh, and good news! General Howe just captured Philadelphia. Wait, what? So yeah, Howe went south instead of north. Why? I don't know. And now with French soldiers now on the battlefield, the ball was in the British court. After the Americans took back Philadelphia, Cornwallis was now in Yorktown to decide the outcome of the American Revolution. And then proceeded to be absolutely annihilated by the combined American and French armies. The British forces were just no match. Cornwallis surrendered his army of over 7,000 men.
I can't believe this guy. I throw everything I've got at him, and it doesn't even... What are those?
I don't know. I thought they looked kind of dashing.
I've got 24 hours to get rid of this bozo. Well, the entire scheme I've been setting up for 18 years goes up in smoke, and you are wearing his merchandise!
Thirsty?
At this point, the British were bloody fuming. The war was not worth it. And so, as treaties opened up in Paris, the British surrendered. The United States of America was free.
Unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. And in course of human events, it becomes necessary for one to dissolve the political bands that have connected them, to assume that among the powers of earth, a separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them a decent respect to the opinions of mankind require that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. We, the people of the United States of America, hold these rights as self-evident. The right to shoot beer and the right to drink guns. The right for billionaires to evade taxes and government officials to take bribes. The right to not afford housing. The right to die of heat stroke in one's own backyard. The right to sell private information to the highest bidder. The right to interfere with foreign events. And the right to freedom. Amen.